Hi everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to a new video in which we are going to learn a little bit of English. This is Mr. David and I'm here to talk to you about a little topic so we can train our listening comprehension. So I want to speak about a certain topic, okay, that I think that is very interesting for you, and I will leave you 5 questions in the description of the video. I will suggest you to listen to the video first, but if you feel that you don't understand what they say, just click on the subtitles button, and then with the subtitles maybe you will understand much better. My intention with these videos is to train our listening comprehension, and it's going to be in a very close topic. It's not going to be very wide, and also to change the typical topics we train about, as for example, we can find the environment or the family or free time activities or etc. that are normally worked for the certificates, but I want you to think of other things and train your English in the process. So let's start with the topic today is about accents. Okay, I've been thinking recently how I can create a speech, or I could speak to you about how you can get a native accent and why it's so difficult to get that native accent. Okay, so let's start with the second question. Why is it so difficult to get a native accent if you train for another language? Okay, so if you want to learn another language, so why is it so difficult to get to speak like a native speaker? And why it takes years. Okay, so actually it takes years. It's very difficult to do it in only 1 year, although you can find very intelligent people who can do it and with several languages at the same time. Okay, so I really envy them. It's not my case. I took my time to learn English. So the first point why having a good accent of English, from my point of view, is the different sounds that you can find in the different languages. Okay, if we compare Spanish and English, for example, you can find, for example, as for the vowels, in Spanish we have 5 vowels and we have 5 graphemes that represent the sounds of those vowels. Okay, so we have the a, e, I, o, u. And every time you see the same grapheme, it has exactly the same sound. Okay, however, in English, we have around 12 basic vowels, and then we have the diphthongs and we also have the triphthongs. Okay, so the variety is very wide, okay, in terms of English. So the problem is that we represent those things with the same 5 graphemes. Okay, so with a, e, I, o, u in Spanish, okay, with the same graphemes, but we represent 12 different sounds. And how is it possible? Why in English we have so many sounds for the same graphemes, and how we can learn the patterns to understand or to see or to foresee the pronunciation of a new word, for example, before we learn it by heart? I must say that is a difficult task to do, and it needs training. Okay, so you have some things like the Bossy E or something like when you have 2 vowels, depending on the vowels together, it has that sound. But if they have different consonants after or later, so or before, so there are so many things that we need to learn in this. So the first point, the first difficulty is the number of sounds. Okay, the number of sounds. The other thing is that apart from that, one mistake that we normally make is that we learn how to read before we speak. Okay, so we start reading so much, and the problem is that the English, for example, it's not a syllabic language. Okay, it's a stress time language. Okay, it's another kind of language. So the problem is that when you listen to the word before and you get familiar to that sound, and they get stuck to your brain, so that is good, and then you can learn how to read it. But if you do it the other way around, you try to do it as your native language. For example, if you read a sentence in a Spanish way, so the sound changes completely. Okay, so the second difficulty is the way we learn a second language. While in the first language, when we are babies, we are all the time listening, and then we start speaking, they are correcting us, and etc. In a second language, we normally have the mistake that we learn to read it before we speak. Okay, the idea is to do it integrally. Okay, because when you start learning a new language, you have some strategies, you have some mindset created that can help you acquire the second language. However, it's going to be affected by the first language. Okay, so that's why even though you have a really good level of English, they can detect that you are not a native speaker, and they can also detect somehow where you're from, because we more or less commit more or less the same mistakes, because we have exactly the same mindset when we learn another language, and we try to break that mindset to create a new one and embrace the new one. So that's why people say that if you don't learn a language from a baby, okay, from the very beginning, it's very difficult, for not to say impossible, to get a native pronunciation of the other language. Okay, I wouldn't say that it's rather impossible, because I have met people who learned English in their country, for example here in Spain, but they have spent so many years in a foreign country. Okay, for example, I went to Liverpool and I got to meet the head teacher of the Liverpool Hope University, and she is Spanish, but she has a really great level of English, a native way to speak it, because she spent, I think, more than 20 years living in there. So sooner or later you get to know the way people speak in there. Okay, the third difficulty I see is also the way we learn English in here and the way English is in reality. Okay, to put it into a real brief explanation, we learn the standard English that is quite high. Okay, so it's very educated, very polite. Okay, it's a very polite English. But then when you go to the streets of a native speaking country, for example America, or if you go to the United Kingdom or to Australia, there are some fixed expressions, okay, that we can call collocations, and also there are other expressions that are called slangs, okay, which are not correct. They are very informal, but it's very well used in those countries. So if you want to go to the next step, learning a new language, you need to get to know all those slangs, or not all of them, but at least you need to get familiar to them. Although you don't use them, you need to understand what they're trying to say. Nowadays, you can find applications like TikTok, in which you can find different teachers and say, okay, real English and the English that you normally learn, or normal English and advanced English. Okay, and then you get expressions like I am very happy. That would be the normal expression. Okay, that is nice, that is good, it's practical, and people would understand that. But there are other expressions like I am blissfully happy, or I am excited. Okay, so the difference between those expressions and the normal expressions that you learn here in Spain, for example, so that's another bunch of vocabulary that you need to learn apart from that, in order to substitute and become more formal or more informal, more native. Okay, and then we have like slangs or ways to speak, like wanna, gonna, gotta, and doing that thing. Okay, so I recently I am starting using more that expressions. Okay, because when I say, oh, I'm going to see my family next weekend, so that sounds very correct. But what a native people would say is, I'm gonna see my family next weekend. So I'm gonna see instead of I'm going to see. And sometimes when you say I'm going to see, you are like really posh, and they would be like, "Oh, you are so, whoa, what a high English you're using." Okay, so you need to like get to their level. Okay, so get to their level when trying to use these slangs. Another different thing that you need to understand is that you shouldn't become obsessed. Okay, you shouldn't be obsessed about getting that native accent, at least from the very beginning. However, I suggest you to be really into learning the pronunciation of the new vocabulary you learn, and first by listening and then by reading. And there are so many strategies that you can use. And new teachers are supposed to do that. Okay, to put the priority on the oral language rather than the written language. So with all those difficulties that you need to overcome, my suggestions to become a native speaker, or to have a native speaking accent or something like that, is that you have to start from the bottom. Okay, you need to start from the scratch. You need to learn the grammar, you need to learn vocabulary, try to make sure that when you learn the new vocabulary is with the correct pronunciation. Then you have to get fluency and intonation, so your English sounds correct. And then when you have that, when you have the structure, is when you can put the decoration on that structure, and that decoration is the accent, and you try to imitate the accent. Okay, so at the very beginning, you shouldn't become so obsessed of having the accent from the very beginning, but it is good. Okay, so if you decide to do so, it's a good way to do it. Okay, so one of your objectives should be that, but maybe not at very beginning. So there are certain strategies that you can use in order to get fluency, and one thing that I have to suggest you is the only way you can learn how to speak is by speaking. Okay, so apart from studying and apart from doing a lot of exercises, there are so many free websites and there are so many Wii applications, and also we have the good teachers around. So yeah, there are so many ways. So now if you don't learn a new language, or if you don't learn anything thanks to the internet, it's because you're living in a cave or something, or you don't want to learn. Okay, so if you're interested in learning something, there are so many ways to do it, so many ways. The only thing that you really require is the will to do it. Okay, you need to have that attitude. So what I was saying is that try to find a good strategy and follow it. Okay, maybe if you receive the guidance of a teacher at the beginning, can be very good for you. Okay, so a teacher can guide you, can leave you with certain strategies, and then you get the strategy that is better for you, and then reproduce it and try to find native speakers to speak with. There are some Facebook pages and some websites in which you can get together with natives who want to speak your language. Okay, so you can exchange. So there is an exchange class. Okay, so we can spend half an hour speaking in English and that person correcting you, and then we do it the other way around. Okay, you speak Spanish, the other person tries to speak Spanish, and you correct them. So you can exchange that. So try to take advantage of those things, because they normally come for free. Okay, so they normally come for free because you are sharing the same objective but with different target languages. Okay, and you are strong on your language, he or she is strong in her or his language, and then we can combine our strengths so we can improve together. Okay, there's so many ways in there. Also, there are some websites that I put in the video about different strategies that you can have to improve your pronunciation without teachers or academies. Okay, so there's a video, I will put the photograph in here. So that can be good for you if you don't want to start with native people. Okay, but you can start also with people who are studying English as well, but they are advanced. Okay, so they are a lot of steps beyond you and can guide you. Okay, so they can take you by the hand until you get to your objective. So now you can hear me, and I don't know what to say about my own accent. Okay, so I've been learning English for so many years, and I continue to learn. And I commit some mistakes like just a minute ago. Okay, so continue to learn. Okay, continue goes with to infinitive. Okay, I commit mistakes every now and then, and people correct me, and then I try to correct myself, and that little by little pays off. Okay, so little by little you get better, and that's the way you improve in your language. Whenever I spoke to a native speaker, they normally say that I have an American accent. That's quite painful for me, because I really love the British accent and I would like to have a British accent. And every time I see, especially girls on TikTok, for example, who are Spanish but have a really good level of English, and also they have that British accent, which I find really attractive, I really envy them, because it takes time. Okay, it takes time, and also to feel confident of doing that. Okay, sometimes people don't speak well because they feel embarrassed because other people can laugh at them so because they are doing it right, and that's pitiful. That's pitiful. If you do it right, continue to do that. So keep on doing that. Okay, keep on doing it right. So what I'm trying to say is that don't give up, never give up. This is for some people can be very fast, and for some people is slow, but if you really want to learn a new language, off you go. Okay, so do it. Okay, just do it. Okay, don't start making excuses not to do it. Okay, I have no time, I'm very tired, I have family, I don't really know how I can learn, I don't know how to start. There are so many ways, so many strategies, so just try to find them. I offer you my ideas. If you want, you can contact me. I leave you here in the comments. I will leave you my contact on Telegram if you want me to guide you, to help you in your English. Also, I want to tell you that I leave you in the comments the contact of a girl who speaks 6 languages. 6 languages. She has been preparing for the certificate of the 6 languages as well for more than 12 years. And also she has a program of language immersion. So if you are learning French, you go to France. If you're learning English, you are going to the United Kingdom mostly. So you are going to start learning English or learning French or learning whatever the language, and then if you go to the other country, you can put that into practice and improve it, okay, with native people in there and completely immersed. Television, radio, going to a restaurant, going to the shop. So so everything, and you have to do it in that language. So that is really, really interesting. And well, I want to remind you that don't forget to subscribe, click on like and the bell if you want to follow my videos. And this video is being sponsored by the Academy Forget Me Not, okay, Forget Me Not Academy, which is very nice of them to sponsor my videos. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you in the next video. Don't forget that the 5 questions are here in the description, and I will be glad to see your answers. Okay, so bye bye, see you in the next video.